What is up, guys? Welcome back to Coltown. Today I'm going to be doing an advanced tips and tricks video. You guys have liked these in the past. I'm just going to be going through a bunch of interactions that you may not know. Hopefully you learn a new thing or two, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so to start off, I'm going to be showing you guys how to activate the King Tower versus Miner. A lot of people like to try to use this placement, and while it does work about half the time, because of true blue, and true red interactions, it doesn't always work. The key is to actually do it one farther left, so the fisherman has to walk, and this will always work against the inside tiles of the tower. A key to this is always wait for your opponent to throw the miner down before you go for it. You do have to be somewhat quick, but you always want to wait first, and there it is. You always want to wait first because otherwise they may throw it in like one of these placements and it won't work in that case. Alright, next up is using the fisherman to fully counter a Sparky. So as it's crossing the bridge, you'll place the fisherman opposite side. It can be placed a little bit earlier than that, but basically you just want to get the pull off to the opposite lane, and if there's this is only if the Sparky's alone, you'll be able to pull it, and then the Sparky will die. It will kill the fisherman, but if it's your only answer, that's just something to know. As opposed to playing it on top of the Sparky or in the middle, you have to play it off. It's an opposite lane placement. It does fully counter. So next up, I'm going to be showing you guys how to consistently activate the King Tower versus Dart Prince and Ghost with Fisherman. So one way to do it is to place it here and wait for the right timing, and the Fisherman will walk back. But a more consistent timing that works 100% of the time once you understand how it works is to place your Fisherman here. Yeah, here. And then what happens is it walks up a bit, and then it gets activated when it pulls, and it'll hit the King Tower, obviously. And this is easier to pull off and more consistent. So we'll start off by showing against the Ghost. So against the Ghost, you're going to be playing it as the Ghost reaches about halfway from the tower to, so halfway between the tower and the bridge, you're playing it. And there we go. So there's the King Tower activation. I did take 2 hits from the Ghost there. You can do it if you time it a little bit quicker. You can time it to where the Ghost only gets 1 hit on the tower. And it'll be just as good as if you do this placement, except it's a little bit easier. And yeah, like I said, you just don't want to play it so you're going to want to play it as the Ghost is reaching this point, and that's how you do it. Versus Dart Prince, you'll actually do it immediately as the Dart Prince crosses the bridge. And then here we'll show the Dart Prince example. King Tower is activated, so it's a little bit weird, but yeah, so you play it right as the Dart Prince is crossing the bridge. And there's the King Tower activation. Again, you can time it a little bit better so that Fisherman, so that the Dart Prince only gets 1 hit. You can also either Skelly's Ice Spirit or zap the Dart Prince so it doesn't get a charge hit. In that case, it'll only get 1 normal hit on the tower, and you can take less damage that way. But that's the consistent way to activate versus Dart Prince and Ghost. Next up, you have to be a little bit careful about this one. It's opposite lane and then 1 high to pull P.E.K.K.A. And the Fisherman will pull the P.E.K.K.A. and then P.E.K.K.A. will activate King Tower without taking any hits. You just have to be careful. Timing's a little bit difficult, but not really. It kills it and then activates King Tower. You may want to do something, because otherwise you take 3 P.E.K.K.A. hits on your King Tower, which could be scary. You may want to Ice Spirit it or Skelly's, if depending on your deck, or Mega Minion, anything that DPSs it down a little bit quicker. You could have even thrown the Mega Minion up here, maybe kind of late, and then go here. And then also, the placement against Mega Knight, I can't show it because this account that I'm playing against that I'm doing these with doesn't have Mega Knight. But so against Mega Knight, you just place it here, same lane, and you play it right after the Mega Knight lands on the tower from its jump. That's a lot of damage, but it will activate the King Tower versus Mega Knight with your Fisherman. So the next one that most people know is just using the Magic Archer to activate the King. Of course, a bunch of different placements can do it, but you just need to get the Magic Archer lined up with the King Tower. And you can kind of, sometimes they play it in the bridge. You can almost snipe it from this placement or something. For example, people like to snipe furnaces with Magic Archers, and instead of countering it with a Baby Dragon or a Mega Minion, you can just activate your King Tower if you have the Fisherman RG deck, for example. Oh, just another thing is the Fisherman that is played first will always hook the other one, even if they both swing their hooks. Yeah. Well, didn't show, but just know that the Fisherman that is played first will always hook the other Fisherman, and you can actually change this outcome by zapping. If you zap or snowball, your Fisherman can win the battle even if it was played after. So this building placement will always pull tower targeting structures, mainly balloon, I guess is the one you would say it against. We'll play the balloon first. Even when it doesn't look like it will, this will always pull a balloon. CRL casters commonly think this is going to go past, but it always pulls. It will never fail to pull as long as you don't play it super late. So yeah, that mortar placement will always pull a balloon. And it's good because it pulls it like an extra far distance because the balloon looks like it's going to go to tower. That mortar placement will always pull, and that works for like all defenses. Although usually you only do it with mortar because you get the extra offensive threat. Works versus hog as well, of course. If you put it any lower, it'll fail that pull. I guess you could do it with goblin cage too. But if you're going to play it this low, it has to be closer to tower. Yeah, so that's just a building placement versus a loon. This one's pretty hard to do, so I don't really advise it, but you can use like a snowball and a building, or buildings are the easiest because they don't move. But yeah, you can use a snowball, and people have done this with NATO too, and push the magic archer further forward so that its arrow reaches the king tower. Versus wall breakers, if you're really quick, you can fully counter. This one's more obvious, but you can fully counter wall breakers that are tanked for with a Valk or an E Wiz if you're really quick. E Wiz. That one's probably unrealistically early, but as you can see, the miner was still tanking the tower. So yeah, you have to play it really high so that the E Wiz only hits the wall breakers, and you get the zap on them, and you can fully counter even if they're being tanked for. I have to show this one in reverse because what account has what. But versus Mega Knight with Battle Ram, you can kite the Mega Knight to the other lane and get both towers to target it, and also not take any hits on the Battle Ram. Yeah, and then of course you put an air DPS down while you're doing that. This isn't really a tip, but you can no longer fully counter E Wiz and Musketeer with Snowball because the knockback was reduced. Used to that was a thing, not anymore apparently, because yeah, they reduced the knockback. You have to get kind of lucky with the timing, but you can activate the King Tower off of the inside skellies if your NATO goes off at the right time, as you can see on that skelly. But it's pretty luck dependent, and if it doesn't work, you can take a lot of damage. I don't know if I would necessarily go for it unless you have no other way of winning versus Graveyard. But yeah, so the key is to NATO an inside skelly and have the NATO cancel out before that NATO has ticked twice and killed the skeleton. You can use wall breakers and a lot of air targeting units. You can use wall breakers, fast speed, and air targeting units to kill a lot of things while pressuring on offense. So this works versus Prince as well. And those bats a lot of the times will then attack whatever they use to defend the wall breakers. So wall breaker kites into an offense works really well versus troops like Dark Prince. The timing is extremely difficult, but if a mortar is placed in the middle to distract either a balloon usually, or sometimes a giant, but usually a balloon or a hog, you can place skeletons in the same lane. So if the mortar's on this side, you place the skeletons here. And my tip, because I just tried it like 4 times and I got it on the 4th try, even if you have to be perfect on the timing. So when the little wheel is going around the mortar, when it hits the 3rd tick, that's when you release. So when, like, you can see the little timer above a card, when it hits that 3rd tick, that's when you release the skeletons, and the mortar will shoot and activate King Tower. So yeah, you go with like a hog or a balloon, and then you're hovering skeletons when they pull, and you release it on that 3rd tick. That's my tip. So I feel like most people know this, but we'll include it. To fully counter a furnace with poison, you wait until only the last fire spirit will get nicked by the poison, and then the poison will hit the first spirit of the last wave, and this will fully prevent a furnace from getting any damage. And that last, or the second to last wave, and the last wave of that furnace will only spawn one fire spirit. I'm pretty sure this doesn't work if they place the furnace one higher, but this placement is the one that is usually what they'll go with. And I don't know if it works if they place the furnace here too. I could be wrong, but I know that I'm pretty sure if they place it one higher than usual, it doesn't get nicked. But then you can also snipe it a lot easier. So if Witch and Night Witch are getting hit by Ram Rider bolas, they can't spawn their units. Don't know why, but they can't. And then right there it spawned because it's targeting two different things, so it eventually is able to. But while they're being hit, they can't spawn. It works better like against like one thing. But if you're playing Witch or Night Witch, make sure you get the card out before the Ram Rider is already too close, because then the Skellies will distract, or the bats will distract, and they'll be able to spawn again, but not if they're currently only being hit. If they're the only thing being hit by the Ram Rider. I've covered this before on my channel, but this works a little bit better against even an E Wiz that's been damaged. The King Tower activation versus E Wiz, this placement is a little bit different than the old one. You just yank it on in. And as you can see, the E Wiz can have less HP, and this will still work to activate. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and a comment, show your friends. And then I can also possibly do, instead of just these one-off plays, I could do like defensive sequences against certain matchups and stuff that you commonly do, like 3 or 4 card plays that work together to defend a certain against a certain deck, you know, that kind of stuff. So just leave me suggestions for this type of video, what other tips you would like for me to include in future videos, and all that. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.